Hi Isha, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Absolutely fine.
I'm so glad to see you here actually.
I'm glad to be here. I'm sure I'm going to learn some really good things. So,
Sure, definitely. Okay, so I see Anjali and Sheetal are also here. Maybe a few more people will be joining in. So let's not waste time and maybe we'll start off. All right. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here. And I just wanted to, take this opportunity to have a healthy discussion about that how, play is important in everybody's life, not just the children, but everybody's life. And also play is something which is not just, limited to one particular curriculum, but to every curriculum. Right. I think that we do have, one person here at the moment, like Isha, Miss Isha is here who will be able to tell us that how their school, which is not an IB school, but they still give importance to play. So Isha, would you want to just share with us that basically which grade level you are teaching and what curriculum your school is following?
sure. I work in a school which follows the Cambridge curriculum, which is the CAIE, right? And I teach the pre-primary section, basically the age group of say 4 to 5 years, right? For me, I feel it's important, the topic goes, play
Hmm.
is supremely important
Hmm.
because these are their foundation years, and
Correct.
it's imperative that they follow the playway method as well in
Hmm.
learning the topics that are probably mentioned in their books.
Right.
We do go by books, but it's important to give them hands-on experience and the
Right.
practicalities, just for them to get a better hang of it and an ag of it. So I think that's really important.
Right. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen, and we have a sort of a PPT basically, which will lead us through this entire webinar of 30 minutes. And there are certain questions which will help us to further have a healthy discussion on the same. All right. I hope that everybody is able to see the PPT which is here, right? So moving on, we'll just have the first question to start up with. That do you remember your childhood days? Okay. So basically, I will just start up as an example, and then maybe everyone who's present here can share that when you were in school, what did play look like, or how involved you were in the school time while playing and learning together. So I would just, share that when I studied, I was in a state board school, and I remember that my play time or the free play time, everything was limited only till kindergarten. There was nothing which, happened from grade one onwards. It was more of a lunch and a recess time that we used to have, but there was nothing which could be, say, a guided play time or something where the teachers are monitoring the students and making their anecdotes or any kind of observations as such. That's what I have I remember of my childhood. And Anjali, maybe Anjali, Danisha, Sheetal, you all can also share what do you remember about your childhood days.
Yes, definitely. Yes, the best part of childhood was outdoor play. That is
Hmm.
something which we really enjoyed,
Hmm.
and it was something to look forward to.
Right.
I remember I was not very keen on physical play, but then outdoor play made me feel very energized. So this is a very
Hmm.
strong memory for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your was your playtime also extended up, Anjali, when you went to the primary section?
No, 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 no. Actually, not at all.
Okay.
It was not. It was the. Uh, it's something which was restricted to our early years. I feel
Hmm.
and of course do not come from an IB school. So
Hmm.
the games and play was only during those as of the PT periods that we
Hmm.
had. That was it, and of
Hmm.
course something that we played in the during recess time.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Sheetal ma'am, आप बताना चाहोगे?
No, ma'am.
Okay. फाइन। तो शीतल मैम, बट आपके चाइल्डहुड में कैसा था? लाइक आपको फ्री प्ले टाइम मिलता था प्राइमरी लेवल में या सिर्फ किंडरगार्टन में?
नो मैम, प्राइमरी लेवल में भी मिलता था, क्योंकि वहाँ पे सिर्फ, लेकिन वहाँ पे पीटी पीरियड जो रहते थे, जैसे अंजलि मैम ने बताया, एज लाइक दैट.
Okay, the same way. All right. What about you, Isha?
Yeah, so I've grown up being around a lot of friends, and in school also we've had lot many activities that included the play. But like you said earlier, as we grew up, it definitely kept on deteriorating and we were just stuck to books. So I don't have very keen memories of my childhood apart from like school. But then I feel it's important, for us to inculcate as much as we can the play, for all the children, no matter any age group, I feel.
Right. True. Very true. Because, right now also, like, whenever I've had a discussion with any kind of, the team member or my colleagues or the ex-colleagues, usually it is that, sorry, the playtime is something which is limited only to the kindergarten level or at the max, say, grade 1. But I have also witnessed certain schools where, they have these guided playtimes where the students basically develop a lot of skills, and the teachers constantly make some or the other observation and anecdotal records of those, and those are used to further hone their skills, and it can be useful at any moment in the classroom. But then yes, of course, there are set structures and criteria to it as to how do we lead them to. All right. Okay, so as per the IB, the importance of play is not just in the kindergarten, but it is also in the PYP. So constantly, these play-based learning skills or the lesson plan, which is developed in a way where there is a lot of scope given for the children to have the play, and play also not just where they are playing as such. Play can be also sometimes a made-up play where the students actually enact and do something. Sometimes they use whatever material comes handy in the classroom and they tend to play with it, just like how the younger girls and nowadays the boys also who play with the doll house, or say sometimes with the cars. But then play also has a lot of varieties, and each and everything gives a lot of scope for the students to develop their skills, which we in IB terminology call them as approaches to learning. So there are different skills: the research skill, communication skill, self-management skills, which the student develop while they are basically playing. But then, yes, there's a lot of scope given to them under that, right? Okay. Now, what is the impact of play on learning? What do you think? If you can tell me from your perspective, that how do you think that play impacts on the learning of your own students or your classroom? Somebody has to volunteer to talk about it first.
Sorry, I was unable to unmute myself.
Acha, no problem. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So being with the early years, right from the beginning, I feel that play is the best way in which students learn through. It is something that they enjoy doing, that they're interested in, and it's something that is very effortless, I feel. So play is a very important, you can say, strategy for learning. Yes, that's what I believe in.
Right. Okay. Can you give any example, Anjali, where you felt that something that happened during the playtime was seen through a student's learning?
Yes. Okay. So you want me to give an example?
If you can remember at the moment, or we can come back to it.
Of course. Of course. No, of course, I do remember actually something very
Yeah.
vividly. I remember we were doing the concept of capacity last year with the kindergarten students, and so they had this morning sandpit time, and they were playing with all those buckets and spades and the different containers that they had, and suddenly I could see that they were in the sand in the bucket, and then they said that this bucket can hold more sand than this glass. So
Right.
yes, so that was a very I could say a strong impact of play
Right.
on
Right.
learning.
Right. So I see Sumirai sir's hand raised. Sumirai sir, you want to share something?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
Ma'am, as you are saying how play is important in students' life,
Hmm.
in earlier kids, right? So, in my subject in dance, play is very important because when students play,
Hmm.
they start doing some fundamental of movements. They
Right.
start locomotor movements. They start non-locomotor movements. So it's developed their somehow it's developed their dancing skills.
Right.
Okay, sometimes students play with papers, sometimes they play with some toys, even
Hmm.
sometimes they play with some ball, bat, or anything. Even as you
Right.
said earlier, doll or cars. So that's also students doing some kind of dance movements, and that dance we call dance to the prop.
Right.
So, so students are developing their skills, but they don't know how they are developing.
Hmm.
So play is very important in my subject.
Right.
That's that's what I am to say.
Right. So, Sumira sir, I would like to, ask you that does this only limit, to say the early years or say till grade 1 or 2, or does it also go beyond, like for our middle school students or the students who are, possibly approaching grade 4, grade 5?
No, yes, ma'am. Actually, the you said no beyond. So for playing, as we said that for learning, it's not any age. We can learn at any age. So in
Right.
same way, for playing, for dancing, we don't have any proper age. I
Right.
have experienced people can dance at the age of 60 and 70 also.
Right.
So I'm dealing with that kind of people
Huh.
because I used to go for Sangeet choreography. So
Right.
sometimes I deal with the people who are they are don't know anything about the dance.
Hmm.
But in what I think, all human beings
Hmm.
they are they are born dancers.
Right.
No one will say that I'm not a dancer. Everyone
Right.
is a born dancer, but
Huh.
they don't know how they are dancing. If
Right.
you're walking, then also you're dancing. If you're
Right.
running, then also you're dancing. If you're doing any housework, then also you're dancing. But the
Right.
thing is that you don't know how you're dancing.
Right.
If we are doing any movement, by default we are dancing. The thing
Right.
is that we need to put that movement in a proper rhythm, in a proper sequence.
Right. Okay, so
So
that's how you
for me,
connect it. You connect it to the play, which play, as you said that there also the movements which they are doing connect to the dance. So possibly our students, the younger ones, especially pick up from there, right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Sumirai sir. Okay,
Okay.
anybody else, who would like to share examples or, share more about that, how the the factor of play impacts the learning of a student, or any example where you actually saw that, whatever must have happened during a free play time or a guided play time has been seen as an evidence, in the student's learning, or the student has possibly connected it. I know Sumirai and Anjali just now discussed the same with me. Anybody else who would like to say? Anisha ma'am, since you are doing grade 1, have you seen any such kind of thing? Or if you haven't seen, then how can we, encourage that in the students? Yeah, I think that is not, I don't think so that Anisha ma'am is here, or maybe she has some network errors. Anybody else who would volunteer to, speak about it? That how does play impact the students' learning?
Excuse me, ma'am, if I could add on to it,
Yeah,
I
please.
feel for the children in their early years,
Uh-huh.
because that's the age group I deal with, I feel
Right.
it's important for them to play in groups and be part of it, so that
Hmm.
it's going to be somewhere or the other that it's going to improve their social skills. Because
Right.
usually we have parents who kind of are a little more concerned about, okay, the child doesn't really greet other people outside of the school.
Right.
That's all. So I feel it's important that the more they are kind of they're playing games together in groups. Of course, they learn to share. They learn the skills of kind of negotiating it. Chalo, aap meko ye ek de do, you play with it, and then we can something of that sort. So I feel these are the basic skills that they're going to mold their personality in some way or the other. So I think play definitely has an impact on their social skills as well.
Right, very true. Yes, Zarina ma'am, I see your hand raised.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I would also like to share one of my experience of last year when students were coming physically to school. And I remember a unit, we were taking a unit of civilization where students were assessed through a play. We had done a summative assessment and in that students were assessed by a play where students were divided into different groups, and each group was having a play in which each group was uh, means presenting one civilization, like one group was presenting Egyptian civilization, another group was representing Mesopotamian civilization. So different civilizations, they had displayed their summative assessment through play. So I remember that students, they enjoyed a lot even during the when they were preparing for the play, when they were writing the scripts, when they were practicing for the play, and even the parents enjoyed a lot. And it was a new experience for the students as well as parents, and as well as for me, as last year was my first year in IB PYP. So it was a great experience, and I could see that children, the concepts related to the unit were very much cleared, as we had used play for the assessment.
Right. Right, makes sense. Thank you. So, I think I would, want to introduce you to someone. We have Miss Neeta Bajaj here. Miss Neeta is basically, one of the ex-parents of the school where I was teaching, and she is also very much active, especially encouraging the younger students who she's encouraging them to take up the roles of educators and start sharing their part of knowledge with the younger students or the adults as well at times. So, Neeta, would you want to share with us your perspective that what do you think, is the importance of play at, say, at any age group, not just the PYP, but any age group?
Hi, Hetal. Hi, everyone. So I think, Hetal, what you said right now is exactly what I was thinking 2 minutes ago, that at any age group, you need play to enjoy education. So I realized that when the youth are teaching, they make it more fun and interactive for the kids. So interaction along with play, I think, is very important. So it's like if they're doing even a simple activity, they're teaching chemistry or something, if it's taught in a fun way to any age group, can make it so interesting that they want to like the subject. It's not necessarily their passion, but if they, even if they don't want to be scientists, they don't want to do chemistry, still they will come back to chemistry if it's taught well.
Right.
So I think if it's taught with a game, and the school we were in previously, I think they taught everything in games.
Right.
It was so much fun, right? So yeah, that's it. I've seen this.
Right. In fact, we have seen that how much the parents also enjoy getting involved in play, because we have had, places or times when the parents were invited for some or the other session. And when we made it a lot more of just PowerPoint presentation and people just listening to somebody talking, I think that was much more boring. But we found that their involvement was much more when they were invited to play something. And I think from there the connections which they made was very much the genuine connections, and we didn't have to push through something. So I think that I agree to that. Any age group, the play, I think, is the most important factor. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question. That, how do you incorporate play in your classroom, no matter whichever age group it is? How do you incorporate play in your lesson planning, and how does it take place in your own classroom? I don't mind starting that if people are a little hesitant. I would
Can
just
I add?
yeah, sure, please, Isha.
Sorry.
Yes.
So, when we had, I teach art
Huh.
to kids. So even art can get boring if it's taught the same way every time. So in between, during art lessons, like last time, what we did was we made a game out of art. So we made a memory game, with the cards. So when I would draw one card, they would copy that one, and then the other kid would copy the other card and stuff. And they made a whole pack of cards, each one of them, for the memory game. So the point is that even art needs games. It can get boring. Anything can get boring if it is taught the same way non-stop.
Right. Agreed.
That was to
Yeah.
answer your question.
Thank you. So I just, recently I started teaching the DP1 students. And of course, this was the first time that I was teaching like a completely different age group coming, entirely from the PYP and a bit of a NYP background. This was the first time, and the language was new. And with the limited set of students, when I started the classroom, in one of the classes, I just gave them a task as such that, where if they could enact and they could read the sentences, which had a few German words just to start up with. And the students were so embarrassed. They said that, like this is something which the younger students do, and how can we do like that? It will sound so weird, if I start talking in that kind of a tone, it will be so weird, ma'am. And I just told him that, let's start. And of course, I observed that, when I had to do it for them, taking somebody's help, I myself was so hesitant to do it, possibly because I always saw that the younger students were so enthusiastic about taking it over that they started doing it. And I used to just, possibly observe them or enjoy them. But when I had to actually do it, the first few minutes were quite a struggle with my own self. And then, slowly when I opened up, I could see that those students also opened up. And definitely now they are much more open to a lot of ideas, which has some or the other element of play involved in it. Yeah, anybody else who wants to share it? Isha, Anjali, Sheetal ma'am, Anisha ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd love to. Like the other day, I was just revisiting numbers, say 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 for the children, okay? So just counting objects and numbers wouldn't do the drill, right? Because like you also said, after some point, it usually gets very monotonous and a little boring for the children. And for me to have glued to the screen is important, right? So what I did was I had to kind of introduce the hopscotch game to them, because I feel today's generation doesn't really know the old school games like we used to play, right? So what I did was I made a hopscotch. I made them literally jump on the hopscotch by actually saying the numbers. Like maybe they could just like get their toy to jump on the hopscotch with them. They're just like saying the number notations. And I kind of also made a story out of it, which goes from counting 1 to 10 and backwards. So I literally had had a setup done, like a small puppet theater kind of a thing, just to teach them numbers 1 to 10. So I think the more interesting you make the session is what is going to get them glued to the screen, since we're all kind of working from home and they all have their online sessions. So it's imperative for us to make it as interesting as we can, and also of course interactive for them to stay focused in whatever we're teaching.
True, very true. Yes. Anybody else wants to share, or shall I move ahead? All right, so we'll just move ahead. Yeah, so I have a small video to share with you all, and possibly you'll enjoy that.
How children play today has evolved beyond recognition, and some of it isn't real play. So what is real play? Real play is physical, building strength, well-being and resilience. Creative, developing their imagination. Constructive, vital for coordination. Dramatic, which is how kids learn empathy and morality. And also games, which are how kids learn to share and take turns. Real play isn't just free time or screen time, it's real, and it has real importance. With so many competing priorities, real play is falling off the list. But what do kids need for real play? Kids need energy, so plenty of sleep and snacks. A relaxed environment, away from everyday pressures. Stimulation, other kids, new things, but don't overdo it. And they need time. Clear your schedule and theirs. Provide these 4 things, and you'll find that real play simply happens. To be happy and healthy, every child should have real play every day. But what are the benefits? Real play every day gives your child focus, which helps them to learn. Imagination, boosting their creativity. Active engagement, making them happier. And better sleep and overall well-being. If you'd like your child to have real play every day, join our movement.
All right. Yeah. So I think that video, I love that video because it showed that, how the children, they can actually pick up anything and everything and start imagining that what exactly it is. I would just share a small incident with you that once after, our after school clubs were going on, and there was a lot of crowd of teachers and students who were just helter-skelter running around. And I was trying to, bring them all into the order. And there was this one particular student who just came up and who told me that, ma'am, why are you, actually giving so much of pressure on your throat? Why don't you just use a mic? And I told him that I don't have a mic, with me right now here, and how am I going to announce it? So he said that you have a pen. Why don't you just imagine that it's a mic and, just start saying it? And I said, it won't work out. And he kept insisting that try once. And actually, when I, just held it like a mic and I just said, a little bit more louder, I could see at least the crowd who was nearest to me, they started, organizing themselves. So I think sometimes we adults, we just put limitations to our own thinking and our own creativity also. But these little ones, they actually, open up their minds and they help us also do the same. And I'm sure that you all will agree to the same. Well, this is all from my end. If there is anything more or anything interesting or an incident that you would like to share with us right now, we do have a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes for that. If not, then we would like to end the session on the note. Is there anything that anybody wants to share?
Yes. Actually, today in the morning, I had my webinar on agency in the early years, and there we were actually with my guest speaker, we were thinking about it, and what is agency in the early years, and play came as a very important factor that. If we that as teachers, I think this is not directly related to your topic, but then I was just thinking that if we are the teachers who set up play for them in the classrooms, areas for them, or arrange playtime for them, then how does how can we say that we are the students, we are implementing agency in the classroom? Is it the students who are utilizing the play time or the play areas to to practice agency, or is it teachers who are guiding? So there was this one debate. So it would be really nice to know what do you think, because you are focusing on importance of play in the early years.
See, what I feel is that and what I have seen also previously, the school which Neeta was mentioning about, what we used to do there, the practice which I learned from there, the philosophy was that there were two kind of play times which were given to the students, at least multiple times in the week. One was something which was teacher guided play time, where, as you rightly said, that the teachers open up different corners for them, or lay out the setting for them, or the manipulatives to play with, or the kind of material that we want the students to get engaged in. Right. And there was also this time, a particular time, which is a free play time, where we just monitor the student from far, that maybe they do not get involved, anything which would be harmful for themselves or their peers or their surrounding, and we just observe them. But there was a balance of both of these times, one which is guided and led by the teachers, and one which is completely independently led by the students and handled by themselves. That is where, we identified that a lot of problem solving skills were used by the students, because they used to get into conflicts, and that's where, they started bringing those conflicts up slowly, and those were the discussion topics with the teachers and the students in their class meetings. So I hope, Anjali, that justifies it, because
Yes, I agree. Yes, definitely agree. And that again brings us back to this, plays an important part, because whether it's, arranged for them, whether we are leading it or it's free play. Yes, yes, I agree. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here, taking out the time and attending the session, and also discussing those important pointers with all of us. Yes, Neeta, you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you.